get ready to dim the lights and lock your doors. Friday Night Frights is here to haunt your weekend. Every Friday night, we bring you spine-chilling tales of the macabre, the mysterious, and the downright terrifying. From cursed artifacts to shadowy creatures lurking in the dark, these stories will keep you on the edge of your seat long after the episode ends. Are you brave enough to listen? Tune in and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more eerie episodes. Our story tonight is especially for you that are staying at home instead of out watching the 4th of July fireworks. This is Sparks on a First Date. So, grab a cup of something yummy, sit back and relax, and enjoy the story. The first shell burst over Mariners Park at 9:03 p.m., a chrysanthemum of scarlet light suspended against the black waters of the Pacific. Daniel Reeves was sandwiched in the crowd near the seawall, feeling equal parts anticipation and claustrophobia, when he spotted her stepping out of a rickety yellow taxicab, blonde curls pinned up, looking like late summer wheat, a blue silk dress that seemed poured onto her frame, and a faint smile sharpened by mischief. Evelyn Archer was the woman he'd matched with on Crescent City Singles. 2 nights of midnight messages had heightened into an impulsive first date. Fireworks, funnel cake, see where the night goes. He waved, self-consciously brushing stray sand from his linen jacket. She glided closer, perfume laced with salt air. "Daniel," she breathed, as if testing the way the name sounded coming out of her mouth. "So here we are, on America's birthday. Shall we celebrate?" Her voice was smooth, silky, just like the dress draping her frame. She was gorgeous, he thought, curves in all the right places. Suddenly her jet blue eyes darted to the left at the movement of a passerby, and a shiver shifted through her features. No more than a ripple, but Daniel saw it. Her glance returned to Daniel, but her eyes were paler blue this time. A second shell exploded overhead, silver sparkles lighting her perfect profile. "Do you ever think," she asked, tone shifting to girlish wonder, "that fireworks look like flowers caught mid-bloom, scared they won't finish?" Before he could answer, she laughed, low, smoky, eerie, nothing childlike about it. They joined the coastal procession towards the bluff. Lanterns bobbed on shepherd's hooks, vendors hawked kettle corn and cotton candy, sparklers hissed like tiny serpents at every turn. Evelyn threaded her arm through Daniel's with practiced ease. "Tell me something intimate," she said. "I want to know everything about you." He cleared his throat. I coach middle school basketball. Used to play varsity, blew out my knee, but the kids keep me in the game." "Oh, that's lovely." She leaned in, eyes sparkling up at him. He swore her eyes were once again different than before. High above, a mortar misfired, an abrupt boom low on the horizon, and a hush fell over the crowd, anticipating the blast of color, which never came. Evelyn's head tilted at that moment, as if listening to a frequency only she could hear. When she smiled again, the grin was not the same shape, not as sweet as it had been. At the crest of Beacon Hill, they stopped for a moment on a weather-beaten picnic bench. The ocean sounded below, moonlight lighting the waves. A cluster of tourists buzzed nearby, but the bench felt strangely secluded, as though sound itself skirted its perimeter. Evelyn produced an antique silver flask. "Dutch courage?" Her accent? Was it British now? Daniel accepted a swallow. Whiskey spread warmth down his throat. Emboldened, he asked, "So tell me about you. You grew up where?" She blinked lazily. "Ohio." The mismatch jarred him. Shells exploded in rapid succession, blue peonies, white willows cascading, crackling palms. Evelyn visibly basked, head tipping back, throat exposed to falling cinders. The wind whipped her hair into Medusa tendrils. "Kiss me," she said, gazing at him wistfully. He lightly touched his lips to hers. Somewhere below, a power transformer popped, and the carousel lights on the boardwalk blinked out. Murmurs drifted up. Evelyn exhaled a delighted, "Oh," like a child spotting rainbows. "You enjoy chaos?" Daniel ventured. Her reply came in sing-song. "What's a film without a few dropped frames?" She turned, and for half a second he swore her eyes were two distinctly different colors now. One dark, stormy gray, one pale green. The illusion vanished on the next flare. She took his hand and pulled him toward the vendor's row. Evelyn paused at a booth selling masks, papier-mâché faces cracked with antique varnish. She lifted up a harlequin half-mask, then a tragic Greek visage, pressing each to her features, watching him through empty sockets. "Which one's me?" she asked. Daniel shrugged uneasily. She giggled, but the sound pitched wrong, too shrill. She dropped the masks on the ground, her glassy eyes slyly watching him, even after the vendor muttered curses. More fireworks filled the night sky with color. 2 teens sprinted past, shrieking about a fight near the beach. Sirens wailed in the distance. A smell of smoke, sharp and chemical, threaded the breeze. Daniel's phone buzzed. "Boardwalk on fire. Avoid pier," read the push alert. He looked up. Evelyn was already running downhill, steps swift and sure, straight toward the chaos on the boardwalk. "Wait! Shouldn't we?" he called. She didn't break stride. "The best views at the end of the pier," her tone steady and firm. The wooden slats underfoot creaked as they continued. Spectators bunched near the railing. Beyond them, orange flames danced along the storage sheds. Fire crews wrestled hoses, silhouettes strobing in red, blue emergency lights. Daniel's chest tightened. Maybe we should turn back. Evelyn's expression softened, maternal, almost pitying. "Darling, you promised me an adventure." Had he? He remembered messaging, "Life's short, let's make sparks." She had typed a single spark emoji reply. She gripped his lapel and kissed him, tender, lingering, then whispered, "Trust me." Halfway down the pier, the crowd thinned. A boom rolled from the sky, but no light followed. The fireworks paused, leaving velvet darkness. Evelyn inhaled, eyes fluttering with rapid motion. The wind knotted her hair, casting wild shadows across her face. Daniel imagined a projectionist in some dusty theater, clicking frames forward while the audience held its breath. "Are you okay?" he asked. The way her eyelids were fluttering, he wondered if she was having a seizure. Abruptly, she stiffened, voice dropping an octave. "He's watching." "Who?" She pointed toward the blazing sheds. A firefighter, hulking, soot-smudged, had paused, visor lifted, staring straight at them. Evelyn's hand clamped around Daniel's wrist with startling strength. "Move!" They ducked through a maintenance gate marked "Authorized personnel only." The latch snapped shut behind them. They descended a narrow service stairwell beneath the pier, the air cooled, reeking of creosote and barnacles. Fluorescent tubes buzzed overhead, making halos of dusty light. At the bottom, a corridor stretched under the boardwalk, lined with padlocked doors. Evelyn rummaged her purse, producing a key ring that chimed like distant bells. Selecting a tarnished brass key, she opened the third door on the left. "You have a key?" Daniel asked, astonishment in his voice. She tossed her hair, shrugged her shoulder, and turned to walk in. Inside, he could see it was a windowless storage room lit by a single bulb. Metal shelves lined the wall and sagged with something bulky, swathed in tarps. She flicked the light off once they were in. Darkness swallowed them. Daniel's pulse hammered. "How did you get that key?" "Shh," she warned. "Remember the game we played online? The truths and the lies?" "Lies?" he asked. He groped backward, stumbling against a shelf. "I thought we were getting to know each other. You said you were a grad student in comparative literature. I assumed you were telling me the truth." "It was a lie," she whispered. Outside, more fireworks boomed and lit up the small room through a vent high on the wall, throwing her silhouette onto the stacked shelves. "Who are you?" he rasped. She answered not with words, but with voices. 3, maybe 4, tumbled over each other. Childlike giggle, clipped British contralto, Midwestern drawl, guttural whisper, until they fused into a haunting chorus. "Don't you want to feel some sparks tonight, Danny?" Daniel quickly reached for the light switch and found it. Suddenly the bulb flared on, and Evelyn stood before him, her posture strangely unfamiliar. Oh, she still had the curves in her tiny blue dress, but there was something different about the way she looked. One shoulder rolled back, confident, head cocked, taunting. "Danny boy," she purred in her smoky voice. She pivoted, her eyes now fully dilated and black as ebony. "Let's see what sparks we can ignite." Daniel backed into a shelf. Memories of their recent online conversations resurfaced. Casual questions she'd asked. "What's your favorite hiding place? How loud does the ocean sound from your apartment?" He had thought she was only flirting. On the wall, a corkboard supported by rusted nails bore rows of Polaroids, pictures of men, all around the same age as Daniel, and the fireman who had been staring at her. Did she bring all these men here, to this small room? And what was under these tarps on the shelves? Daniel could feel the sweat pouring down his face. The overhead bulb flickered, and Evelyn was inches away, her eyes 2 different colors again. "I collect memories," she whispered. "Memories, and the men who fuel them." Above, a fresh volley of fireworks resumed, muffled thuds echoing through timber. Daniel lunged past her, yanking the door. It was locked. He spun. She had not moved, but something in her grin suggested she had. "Why me?" he asked. Her child voice chimed in. "You said you liked sparks." Sirens wailed closer. Boots clanged on the pier above their heads. Evelyn was holding a lighter, letting the flame flicker on and off and on again. He pushed past her, tried to force the door open. "You're not getting away so easily, Danny," she said in her little girl voice. "Not until we light some sparks." She threw her head back and laughed as she tore away a tarp cover from one of the shelves, revealing racks of pyrotechnics, professional-grade mortars, fireworks neatly labeled. Realization struck Daniel. This was the storage room where they kept the fireworks stashed for the show. "You're going to level the pier," Daniel whispered. "Not me. You are." Her voices overlapped again, and Daniel saw her face shift as each voice took over. How many Evelyns was he dealing with? Panic overwhelmed him. He tried to reason with her. "You can't stop them," she laughed and flicked the lighter again. The reflection of the flame in her eyes were like a cracked funhouse mirror. Could he strike her? Which her would he be striking? Voices echoed through the corridor, firefighters forcing entry. Wood groaned as they hammered at the locked door. Daniel yelled, "Help!" just as Evelyn lit the first row of mortars. In an explosion of light and sound and smoke, the door burst open and Daniel fell to the ground. 2 hours later, Daniel sat wrapped in a foil blanket on the beach, throat raw with smoke. Paramedics flurried around survivors. Reporters' cameras flashed. Deputy Chief Morales questioned him. Daniel stammered half-truths. "She led me under the pier. The storage room was full of fireworks. Her name was Evelyn Archer." Morales nodded, jaw tight, clearly distracted. "There's been multiple accounts," he said, "of a woman in blue seen unlocking restricted areas, but no trace of her now." Mid-interview, a radio crackled. "Body found near North Jetty. Female, early 30s, extensive burns." Daniel could feel his chest contracting. Morales hurried off. Daniel rose shakily, trudged toward the jetty, paramedics shouting after him. He ignored them. As he approached the floodlit tarp, a detective blocked his path, but Daniel glimpsed pale hair fanned on the rocks. A charred hand lay open. In its blackened palm rested a lighter. Weeks later, on a fog-drenched Tuesday, Daniel wandered Marshwood Antique Market, his burns nearly healed. Near the back, a glass case displayed vintage cameras and battered reels in silver tin cases. One film canister bore masking tape labeled Beacon Hill Fireworks, July 4th, 1940. On a whim, he purchased it, claiming nostalgia. He borrowed the community college's film projector, and later, in his living room, the film sputtered to life, grainy monochrome footage of Beacon Hill circa 1940. Families picnicked. A pretty woman in a blue dress twirled, laughing. Daniel's breath caught. It was the same face, same curls. On screen, she turned toward a cameraman, lips forming silent words. She lifted an antique flask, toasted, blew him a kiss. A final image lingered, a freeze frame of her face, the left eye pale green, the right storm gray. The projector rattled, bulb fizzed, and the film burned through, leaving smoke spiraling. Daniel sat in the dark, a question clawing at him. How many nights, how many personalities, spanning how many decades, had she celebrated independence by robbing others of theirs? Was she truly gone, or merely wearing a new mask, waiting for the next spark to believe? Outside, a neighbor's child lit a sparkler. In its flicker, Daniel glimpsed, just for a heartbeat, the silhouette of a woman watching from across the street, blue dress swaying, Smile unreadable. The sparkler hissed out. The street was empty. Well, thank you for listening to our 4th of July story, and I hope you all have had a great day, and if you are out tonight watching fireworks, please be careful. We will see you all next week for another story on Friday Night Frights, and until then, have a great week, everyone.